What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Rayge, and we are back today to start officially Dark Dimension 7, and we're going to see how our first attack goes here, guys. But in case you missed my last video, let me recap for you the first 5 characters that I am bringing into Dark Dimension 7. As you can see here, they are now officially leveled up and ready to go. Now, I want to talk real quickly here about why the logic of these characters being brought up, especially with 2 of them in both Apocalypse and Super Skrull actually being mythic characters, obviously used later on in the Dark Dimension stages. However, at the time of recording anyways, guys, I am absolutely crushing Arena, and you know, that's a big part of why I built up some of these characters. Not only am I going to get immediate value right away for these characters being used in Arena, but as well, it's the most impactful because you want to be bringing characters that are used not just for Dark Dimension, but beyond that, right? Because remember, with Dark Dimension, once you complete it twice and unlock Mephisto, you're not going to be getting much more out of that. So you really want to bring in characters that you're going to be satisfied and happy with, and both Apocalypse and Super Skrull are 2 of the best characters in the game. They're both in the Arena meta, so it made a lot of sense for myself. Robbie and his Secret Defenders are falling out of the Arena meta. However, this character is the king of Dark Dimension for the city nodes. So it makes sense with him coming in, as well as his utility and kit. He just has so much value beyond just Dark Dimension, and that's what I really appreciate about Robbie. He's going to be very relevant in the game for quite some time. And then finally, I round out the rest of this with some of the other meta tunes as well as cost, right? Black Knight is a meta in the Arena right now. His out of time team is one of the top defenses in war. So again, getting value not just specifically for this game mode, but in other aspects. And again, Black Knight is also one of the best characters in the game. So I'm really focusing on what's relevant in the meta. The one that kind of sticks out is Vulture, because this is strictly a cost efficiency investment here. Vulture is part of a very, versatile and adaptable Sinister Superior 6 synergy. He's cheap. The fact that he has great utility, turn meter manipulation, and as well thrives against enemy Spider-Verse characters. So I mean, this mix is great. And the other thing I want to point out too, guys, is the fact that you want to balance out your resources and materials, right? Even though Apocalypse and Skrull are very expensive, they're both different traits. You know, one's a mutant, one's a bio. We have a mystic character in Robbie. We have a cheap tech character in Vulture. And then finally, we do have a moderately expensive character in Black Knight here for skill gear. But it all balances out because it's one of each trait. And that's really how I've been able to build up these 5 characters to be ready to go here. So now that we got that context out of the way, guys, let's get right to it here. The first attack, let's go. And similar to my past video guides, guys, I'm going to be putting everything in the link below, as well as making a playlist for this, so that way you guys can track. We don't know how long this is going to take. Last time I did Dark Dimension 6, it did take a couple months. So what's more important is the fact that we're starting this marathon finally and making sure that we do our daily attacks. So let's take a look here. I used Vulture on the special on the left side just because you're going to be starting off with the Absorbing Man here. So you can't really do much against a taunt. But what is notable about this node initially, guys, is the fact that Nova is actually ulting every single turn. So he absolutely needs to be taken care of as soon as possible. There's also a big mixture here of this, Morgan Le Fay Darkhold team. We have some Nowhere members, so I recommend actually using the ability block and controlling that Star-Lord Annihilation. As you can see right there, the Nova ultimate right there, and he's going to be repeating that every turn that he gets an opportunity to do so. So that's what makes this one difficult, is because they already have the Arena effect, and you have to get through multiple taunts. And to be honest, I'm pretty happy that I brought in both Apocalypse and Skrull, because I think if you don't have one of these 2 characters, this is definitely a very, very dangerous and difficult node to start things off. And you may not even be able to get anywhere if you don't have one of these 2 characters that you noted. So finally, we get a chance here with Robbie. We're going to go ahead now and also ability block that Thor in the back there. But as you can see, the reason why this team is going to be so good against this mixture here is the debuffs, right? Look at all the positive buffs that we have versus their debuffs. It's going to give us that advantage here to really excel. And then finally, what we're doing is we're consistently attacking Nova, so that way once his charges go off, the game plan is to use the Apocalypse ultimate to actually finish him off. So that's why we've been attacking around them, but not really focused on Nova just yet, because we need to get rid of the charges first. And what I do like about the upgraded Apocalypse is that, even with his basic ability, he's going to be applying bleed across the board and hitting every enemy that's adjacent to the main target primary here. So activating Robbie's ultimate now. This is huge. Look at the debuffs that we have. The bleed is absolutely beautiful. And sorry, I should have pointed this out in the intro, but I do also have my Robbie as an ISO 8 healer. I found that because he gets the most turns, it's actually really nice to get some additional healing here, and especially if you don't have healers on your team, right? So as you can see, working pretty good now. We got 4 out of the initial enemies actually eliminated, as once again, that Nova with his ultimate. Super pesky, but well, with our defense, our debuffs, it's making the battle actually last pretty good right now. So finally, we see that Nova's charges are off. We see that we're in a good position here with these weaker enemies, and we go ahead, we activate, the Falcon APOC punch on Nova. Finally, he's taken care of. I really recommend this, guys, because if you don't take care of that Nova in this initial wave, I do believe there's more nowhere characters to follow. So I think there's multiple Novas in this node, so that's why something to be mindful of. Obviously, you want to clean up as much as you can, and then you are going to be left with these 3 enemies here, which is a good position to start kind of building up energy before this next wave spawns. And this is usually where it's going to get most folks. There's a couple of good Ghost Riders here. It's the 2 OGs plus Robbie, and the moment you take down any enemies, it's gonna hurt, because both these Ghost Riders, they hit like a truck, as you'll see here. So the passive attack damage there, and that was on scroll too, by the way. So if you can get the offense down with Vulture there, it definitely does help a bit, because we're now going to try to clean up a bit here, but we are focusing on Robbie because he's the most important character to focus on in this wave. And once again, that's why we cleaned up that initial mixture there of some of those key targets, right? Because if you have that synergy here, especially with Miss Marvel, Hard Light, and Robbie, it can be very dangerous, especially in this first node. So we're doing our thing now, and guys, this is where I would start kind of utilize some of your basic attacks as opposed to abilities, because you're probably going to wipe in this next wave, especially with both those Ghost Riders coming and Robbie. You can see Black Cat just spawned. We just got another Thor Infinity War and another Nova. So this is probably going to be the wave that we wipe, and I've seen the other past content creator videos as well. This is what we typically expected. But yeah, you should be able to take down 8 to 9 enemies in the first attack, assuming you have at least a Super Scroll or Apocalypse going through in this first attack. So that's what we're doing right now, and that's why I was getting more conservative as I was getting closer and closer to this full wave spawning here. Now, to be honest, I don't know if they're going to fully all spawn once we do the next attack, but yeah, at least in the meantime, we were able to make a really sizable dent to that first wave, and now we're yet letting these characters burn their attack. So, and we got rid of that first Nova too, guys. I think that's the only one that ults every turn, so that's just something to be mindful of there. But yeah, that is the first attack, guys. Hopefully this helps you guys out if you're starting off in Dark Dimension 7 as well. As per usual, I'll keep you guys up to date, and here's the attack once again. Thank you for your time as always, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.